So I was buying different cheeses in Aldi the other day, and I saw this. It's goat milk cheese. It's the spring garden variety. And I just tasted it. It's actually really pretty good. It's got a lot of little dried vegetables in there, and I thought, what can I make with this? You know, I was buying different cheeses because we always have like kind of impromptu company, whether it's family or friends or whatever. So I tasted it and I really like it. I thought, okay, well, let's make something with it. So I know what I'm gonna do. I had it's thawing in the fridge. You know, I like the boneless, skinless thighs for a lot of things. But today I'm going to use this pan. It looks a little beat up, but if you've ever worked in any restaurant, this one looks pretty good. You can scrub the heck out of it. But I want the kind of sear on here so that I can use something to, like, you know, like chicken bouillon or a chicken stock preferred, but I don't have that, to deglaze and get all the good bits up. But what I'm gonna do is saute a couple of my own vegetables first. I'll probably use half of this small onion and I'll mince it up, you know, cut it really small. And then I was using a bit of carrot that I had, and I kept doing this to it so it comes off. You've seen me do that before. And then I just chop it up. See, I'm not worried about the knife cuts here, how perfect they are. These are almost gonna disintegrate a little bit when they cook. Would I use celery to make the mirepoix? No, I just feel this flavor profile will be good how it is. And I have these. Now I like to buy stuff from the dollar store because you get a smaller amount. So if you're not sure if you like something, now I already know I like these. Roasted red pepper strips. These are so good on certain sandwiches. And they have them in like a little bit of an olive oil. You can see a piece of garlic in there. Don't be afraid to look on that aisle in the dollar store and buy little bits of stuff. Hey, if you lose $1.25, no big deal. But I like this amount. So I'm gonna use this also. I think it'll go with something creamy like that. I'm gonna use bow tie pasta. And I have mini bow ties too. This is regular size. I have the mini ones. They're so cute. And I'll either give it a splash of cream, heavy cream, half and half milk, or I keep a couple of these in my fridge. You notice this is half the can, half of a regular size can. Again, just a smart little way to keep in the fridge in case you run out of milk for your tea or coffee. And in case you want just a little bit in a dish like this. I've never made this. It sounds good in my mind, but we'll see. I'll show you the result. All right, let's cook. Let's get on with it. Alrighty, so I'm just trimming the fat off of the chicken thighs, and I'm pressing them not too much in the flour. I have it seasoned with a little bit of salt and pepper, just very plain actually. Okay, I'm gonna get this skillet hot, and then I'm gonna put oil in it. So you can start to see the oil like swirl a little bit, like shimmer around a little bit. That's how you want it. Pan hot first, then your oil hot. And let's just get a couple little bit of the aromatics in. Give me my onion. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm gonna put the carrot in now also. And it's all minced up. Like I said, it's mostly gonna disintegrate really. But I'm gonna get the onion cooking a little bit beforehand, before we bother with the chicken. See, I'll take this out after it's softened. Something I like to do to expedite the onion getting either brown or really soft is to put a little bit of salt on them, but also I'm grabbing some butter. And just a tab of butter really can make a big difference in so many things, including getting these onions to cook down a little bit. Okay, so watch the difference here. Now, I've never made this before, but it just sounded like a good idea when I saw that kind of like cheese that I was going to put on like a charcuterie type board or something. But when I tasted it, I went, I think I can use this. So we'll see how this turns out. I could put the chicken in right there, but I'm going to get this out, like I said. And then we'll start over with another hot pan. Same pan, just get it hot again. Okay, so here we go. There's a little bit of oil left in there. I'm going to see how far I can get before I put everything back. But here's my chicken. If I need to add more oil, in other words, I will. Now, it's not quite as hot as I want that oil to be, and I can add a little bit more in. If you do add more oil or butter or whatever, try and put it around the circumference of the pan so that it goes in evenly. You're not laying it on your protein. Don't drizzle the oil right on top of your protein. Can I fit this one in? See, I don't want to move this around because now it's already starting to like gently sear. And yeah, I'll fit that little bugger in there. And I'll let it go. And let that cook for a little bit, at least on that one side, pretty good. Okay, because we want some good flavor for our gravy that we're going to be making. This is funny. I ran out of better than bouillon, so I put a bouillon cube in here. I'm trying to do this left-handed, and I'm not very successful. Let me show you what I did. I can never get those little suckers out of the paper. So I just take those little suckers and I put them in the warm water. Boom. And then the paper comes right off. Okay, so not time for that yet, but I wanted to get it ready. Okay, this has been cooking a little bit more. Let's see how we look. That one at least well, yeah, they're okay. See the bottom of the pan though? Do you notice that little bugger's kind of thick? It's already starting to give a little crust on the chicken, but this chicken's going to end up really soft because we're going to braise it at some point. And to do that, we're going to grab the chicken stock or bouillon chicken broth, I guess you could call it. I love this part. Don't put it all in at once because look how it's talking back to you. Just a little bit. I can always add more as I go because I want it at least halfway submerged, and you can put a lid on it if you want. But look what I'm going to add back in now. This is how I stir things. It gets that little stuff off the bottom, the little fond it's called. Okay? Yeah, and it's kind of thin right now, but you'll watch the magic happen in a little bit. Or a little bit of roasted red pepper. Nice color, but a lot of flavor too. And here's our sauteed down onion and a little bit left in the bowl. Let me get that out. Most of that. Okay. And like I said, you can cover it, but I'm having the heat on pretty low at this point. Okay. I'm going to get it hot before I put that goat cheese product in. I guess you could just use cream cheese. Think about it. And they have flavored cream cheese now too. Another new favorite of mine is that softened cream cheese. That's really good. So this broth is very thin, not a gravy as of yet. But again, this is just cooking. But we are going to grab, I decided to just use half of that little pack. Even though it's small, the goat cheese, it's very strong. The flavors are very strong when I tasted it. So let me get that. Like I said, I'm just going to put half of it in. And as long as the gravy's kind of hot, we'll get that in and crunch it up. Get in there, you. And this will also, in addition to having flour on the chicken, remember we dunked it in the flour a little bit? The flour always helps to thicken your broth. But also this cheese, goat cheese, is going to give a rich flavor and when it all gets married together, and it might thicken it a little bit. I can see that happening. I use Parmesan cheese, my Romano, like shaker cheese, if you will, to not just season, but that kind of cheese salts, and it also thickens a sauce. Did you know that? Your shaker cheese will thicken a soup or a stew or even your spaghetti sauce, whatever. I like that in there. But we're on to this, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I know this is going to be good. But of course, I want to taste it. You can taste for salt, or it might be like, oh, I need something more in there. But at this point, I want to taste it. Actually, that's really good. Yes, I like it. And I'm glad I only put half of the cheese in. I think the flavors might have been too strong. Okay, what's next? Nothing much. Just let it cook down until your chicken's thoroughly cooked. Now I'm checking the thickness here. Now it looks like a gravy, doesn't it? I like it. On the back burners there's a little dressing I made for spinach salad in the small skillet. And I have my noodles, my bow tie noodles for Fali noodles staying warm. I did thicken it. Just a little bit of flour in the cold broth, or excuse me, bouillon stuff. And I just put it in there to thicken it. And you can use cornstarch and cold water too if you want. But I had the flour out. Okay, here goes. Noodles. We like to eat it out of bowls a lot of times in a meal like this. And let's do lots of gravy. Okay. I'm gonna make this spinach salad for on the side, so that's enough veg. I wish I had parsley to put on top. It'd be much prettier. But there's our spinach salad and our leftover bread from the other day. How about that?